Welcome to the Tuesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday. For the folks who are dealing with that unprecedented storm, I hope y'all keeping warm. Here, we had our first snow. First snow during the weekend. That was pretty cool. But it was very cold. Very cold. Sorry that we couldn't do a stream yesterday and that we could not put together a stream for Christmas. We will see for New Year's, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Alio with the tier 1 subscription for 26 months. Currently on a 25-month streak. That is wild. That is wild. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, folks, let me get started here. Folks, if you enjoy the content and you want to help us out, head on over to the YouTubes and hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out. All right, folks, let me get ready here. Whew. I think we should start with this one first. Let's start with this. So as folks may have known, or may have known, as folks may know, maybe weeks, I'm not sure, maybe months. There was, I want to say weeks. I want to say weeks. There was an attack on a North Carolina power station. It was a very damaging attack that left a lot of people without power. And there were several attempts in other places. And near the holiday weekend, it looks like 4 more power stations with substations were attacked. Yep, and that's my neck of the woods. Oh, hey, Michael Hessler. Yikes. Did they take out the power in your area? Hey, Eat, how's it going? Welcome. Oh, the North Carolina incident. Yeah, gotcha. 4 substations attacked in Washington State. I'm fine. That's good to hear. I am welcomed. Howdy. How's it going? 4 electricity substations in Tacoma, Washington were attacked on Sunday, affecting thousands of customers, authorities said. The Pierce County Sheriff's Department described the early morning attack on 2 Tacoma public utility substations and a Puget Sound energy facility as acts of vandalism, with those responsible unidentified. It is unknown if there's any motives or if this was a coordinated attack on the power systems. Well, I mean, you know, obviously we don't have all the information, but I would definitely, I would definitely, investigate that as a possible, explanation. I mean, You've got like an attack in North Carolina. There's several supposed attacks that almost happened in certain other states, and now we have this. The agency estimated that the number of affected homes and businesses was 14,000 at one point Sunday when 3 substations were affected. The sheriff's department described a fourth incident Sunday at another about 7:21 p.m. at another Puget Sound energy substation. The suspects gained access to a fenced area, vandalized equipment, which caused the fire. Currently, there's no suspects. The fourth incident at a utility substation in South Pierce County on Christmas Day prompted stepped-up security. All law enforcement agencies in the county have been notified of the incident and will be monitoring power substations in the area. Power was restored to most of the affected homes. Puget Sound Energy confirmed in a statement that 2 of its substations were attacked. We're coordinating with authorities on suspected acts of vandalism at 2 of our substations. Both incidents are under investigation and no further details are available. PSC has extensive measures to monitor, protect, and minimize the risk to our equipment and infrastructure. Puget Sound Energy said on its website on Sunday that more than 1,200 customers were without power, the vast majority having been reconnected, but it wasn't clear whether that was connected to the attack. Tacoma Public Utilities said that more than 7,000 of its customers in communities of Graham and Elk Plain were without power on Sunday, and it continued to work on restoration. It appears that electricity for many of these TPU customers has been restored. The National Blackout Tracker PowerOutage.us reported late Sunday afternoon that fewer than 5,000 customers remained in the dark across the state. In a statement, TPU said 2 of our substations were deliberately attacked by physical attacks. Yeah, I mean, like, this is pretty disturbing. Yeah, it's pretty low on, especially on Christmas, and like, especially knowing that like, it's freaking cold, man. I bet Santos isn't even gay, light about everything else. Yeah, I don't know about that. How's it going, Bipedal Meatbag? Breaking news: Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer takes a well-deserved victory lap by touting Democrats' confirmation of a staggering 97 judges to lifetime appointments since Biden became president, outpacing both Trump and Obama. Yeah, I mean, depends on what the judges were. Yes. Yes, George Santos lied about pretty much everything on his resume. Yes. The sheriff's department said a person or people, several, broke into the facility and vandalized equipment in each of those attacks, which was first reported at 2:39 a.m. TPU said federal law enforcement alerted it this month to the possibility of attacks and recommended a security assessment. It wouldn't say what measures, if any, it took. At the same time, Oregon Public Broadcasting and KUOW Public Radio of Seattle reported that separate attacks on 6 substations operated by Portland General Electric, or PG&E, the Bonneville Power Administration, Cowlitz County Public Utility District, and Puget Sound Energy in Washington and Oregon had taken place mid-November. These incidents are alleged to have included breaches of utility properties, the outlet said. So there was several of these incidents. On December 3rd, vandals attacked 2 Duke Energy substations in Moore County, North Carolina, leaving 45,000 customers in the dark for more than 3 days. And like, what's interesting about this whole thing is like, these attempts at attacks or successful attacks all happened within the same span of maybe a month, maybe a couple of weeks to like a month and a half. That's very interesting. As electricity was restored to the last of the North Carolina customers on December 7th, someone opened fire near Duke Energy Hydro Facility in South Carolina, about 130 miles south of Moore County. Federal investigators were comparing ballistic evidence in both attacks to determine whether they were connected. Investigators probing the North Carolina attacks were looking at online conspiracy theories to determine whether any of them played a role. 2 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the matter said this month. Prevailing theory was the outages were intended to shut down a drag performance downtown Divas at Sunrise Theater in Southern Pines, North Carolina. Anti-LGBTQ demonstrators targeted the location in days leading up to the Sunday night event, which continued in the dark before it ended early. Power infrastructure has long been on the attack wish list of white supremacists and other right-wing extremists who seek American, quote, destabilization. Brian Levine, the director of the Center of Study of Hate and Extremism at California State University, San Bernardino, said in February. Earlier this year, 3 men pleaded guilty in connection with a plot to disrupt the electricity grid, sow civil unrest and economic uncertainty, and ultimately trigger a race war. Yep. There's no indication that the Washington, Oregon, and Carolina attacks share similar motives. Sunday's Tacoma area attack remains under investigation. Yeah, we don't have much information on these attacks, but the fact that it's increasing and the fact that we've had so many within the span of a couple of weeks is pretty disturbing. Ooh. Hey, Hambliss, how's it going? Pretty disturbing. I'm sure that as we get more information, we will keep doing updates. By the way, folks, I hope everyone had an awesome weekend with you know, friends and family, and hopefully off and taking some time off. I certainly enjoyed the long weekend, and I'm looking forward to having another long weekend. All right, let's shift gears. Kind of. Hope everyone stayed warm. True. It was pretty cold. It's still gonna get pretty cold tonight. Long weekend is the best. Honestly, I gave myself an extra long weekend. So not only do I have the wait, is it the 2nd? Monday the 2nd? Yeah, I think so. But that Friday also, so it's like a back-to-back long weekends. Celebrating the 2nd day of Kwanzaa, my week is good. Nice. Nice. I'm just glad to be off work. New Year's is also coming up. Yep, that's the next long weekend. This one coming up. And then on the 6th, which is for not this upcoming Friday, but the next Friday, I also have off, so it's like a triple whammy of back-to-back long weekends. All right, folks. Convicted leader of plot to kidnap Michigan governor, sentenced to 16 years in federal prison. Good. A Michigan federal judge sentenced a man convicted to plotting to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer to 16 years in prison on Tuesday. Prosecutors said that this domestic terrorist was the leader of a plot to kidnap the Democratic governor from her summer home in 2020. A jury convicted this domestic terrorist and accomplice in August of charges of kidnapping, conspiracy, and conspiracy to use weapons of mass destruction. There is a need for public understanding that the cost of this kind of wrongdoing, and certainly for specific deterrence as well. And there's an impact on our overall governmental system, not just physical threat to our sitting governor. It's the emotional baggage that now our governor will have to carry, and that she's written about in her report. He added that beyond that, it does affect not just the willingness and eagerness of our own governor to continue in office, but undoubtedly affects other people who are either in public office or considering public office. Prosecutors asked the judge to sentence this domestic terrorist to life in prison, the maximum sentence per federal guidelines for this conviction. You could fairly say that none of this would have happened if this domestic terrorist would not have been involved. Jonker said in court that the sentence of life in prison is not necessary to serve as a deterrent to potential violence against public officials. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Your bot is really slow? Is it? Is it? My bot's usually pretty on point. Maybe it's you that's a little slow. Just so you know, if you come here to troll, you're not gonna have a good time. This is literally the worst place that you could come to be a troll. Just giving you the off ramp. Just giving you the off ramp. This is literally the worst place to come if you want to be a troll. Sorry to interrupt your CNN coverage. Ah, yes. To interrupt the CNN coverage. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is there anything wrong with the current reporting? Is there any quotes that were misinterpreted? Is the story fake or is the story different? What's the deal? What does that mean? CNN coverage. Not at all. CNN is a trusted news source. I mean, this particular story doesn't seem to have any holes in it. Is your super sarcastic tone an implication that it is? Like I said, giving you an off-ramp. If you think that this is the place to troll, if you think that you're going to come in here and troll, bless your heart. By advising a team, a term of life in prison applies here sends a clear message of just how serious a sentence is warranted for this domestic terrorist. Public officials should never have to worry for their safety or security of their families because of the hard decisions their jobs require. I mean, like, really, no one should, but okay. If our elected leaders must live in fear, our representative government suffers. Well, I mean, the point is, like, domestic terrorism shouldn't be tolerated in any way, shape, or form. Period. Full stop. Domestic terrorist attorney Christopher Gibbons told the judge that the prosecution overstates the reality of the conduct that has been alleged and actually was accomplished by this domestic terrorist in the summer of 2020. In a sentencing memo, Gibbons asked the court to sentence this domestic terrorist to roughly 4 to 6 years in prison. What he said is aligned with the prison sentences used for the co-defendants who pleaded guilty ahead of trial. Yeah, but, I mean, this guy was like the leader. So, no. Now, you have reading comprehension, right? I'm assuming that you are capable of reading words, right? I mean, here's a really good advice, a piece of advice. I'm a super tolerant liberal. Here's a really good piece of advice. Before you type something, because I mean, presumably you have to take like a moment to actually type out the words that you do. Take a moment and just kind of like 5 seconds think about what you're going to type. Under no in any of this article, it's referring to like you need to fear the people. They're talking about domestic terrorists. People shouldn't be allowed to essentially threaten and put a plot in motion to kidnap government officials. Okay, that's just not okay. That's the story that we're discussing. Okay. Try to keep up, please. Prosecutors batted that document down. Defense attorneys have consistently maintained an entrapment defense, arguing that the FBI coerced the defendants to drive the plot forward through a collection of undercover agents and confidential informants. Prosecutors batted that argument down in court, however, noting that this domestic terrorist has not expressed any remorse. This defendant is going to jail and probably emerge more radicalized than when he went in and will remain a danger to the public. So tell me, who were the people attempting to kidnap Whitmer along the FBI informants? I heard several of them were Bernie Bros. Nope. Not to my understanding, unless you can provide evidence. That actually never came up. They were some far-right domestic terrorists. Prosecutors batted that down. Okay, we already read it. Jonkers recommended prove it. Yeah, I mean, generally when you make a claim, you should prove it. That's true. You should probably provide evidence to the statement, quote, I heard several of them were Bernie Bros. Can you substantiate that claim? You should probably produce evidence of that. You said they were far right. Yeah, they were. They were far right domestic terrorists. Yes, this is true. You are hilarious. Not as hilarious as you, my friend. The people who put this plot in motion were from a paramilitary group called the Wolverine Watchmen. Okay? That's who did it. There were at least several operations that were linked to the Boogaloo movement, which is a far-right movement. So yes, this is a far-right militia. Preceding the 2020 U.S. elections, law enforcement officials and members of Congress and groups tracking extremism in this country warned about increased potential threats from militia and far-right groups. The ADL identified Michigan as a state where modern militia movements found its roots and where a number of militia groups still remain active. However, John Lewis, a research fellow at the Program of Extremism at Washington University, said that the Wolverine Watchmen group, which suspects were members of, flew under the radar and they were simply not as big of a group that we've ever heard of. Apparently, these guys were an offshoot of the Michigan militia. So, yes. I mean, yes. It turns out that when I say something, I generally have an idea of what I'm talking about, and I generally have the ability to kind of back that up. Can you? What did I come into? Oh, the usual. The usual clowns who come in here and think that they can come into this channel and troll. He's suddenly very quiet. Yeah. He is. How's it going, Becky? Good stuff today. Good stuff. They're not sending their best, or maybe they are, and that's kind of like the sad part, right? Maybe they are, and that's the sad part. A lot of people assume that this phrase, "the government should fear the people," is associated with the founding fathers, but it isn't. No, right? Like in this particular context, which apparently our friend here is incapable of reading, which is pretty sad. The context of that was, yeah, maybe acts of domestic terrorism, not good. Not good. It's going good. I'm glad to hear it. How was your weekend? How was your holiday weekend? Fun and celebrated with family. Nice. Nice, I'm glad. Yeah. The guy who led this, who was just convicted of 16 years, had espoused anti-police, anti-government views, along with support of the Boogaloo movement, and had recently become worried about the U.S. becoming a communist country and democratic politicians taking away the guns. Typically, this is what you would find in a Bernie Bro group, a heavily anti-communist person talking about how the U.S. was becoming a communist country and the Dems are going to come and take your guns. This is the leader, by the way, of the person who was convicted. But yeah, who is an Antifa commie? The guy who's literally espousing garbage, like America's becoming a communist country. That Antifa. I mean, you gotta get your stuff straight, man. Sad. I'm not making it up. These are. This is him. Oh, I'm sorry. Here. The suspected participants were tied to a paramilitary militia group that called themselves the Wolverine Watchmen. The group was co-founded by Pete Musico and Joseph Morrison, the later considered the group's co-commander. NBC News investigated into the suspects' social media profiles and found links between their ideologies and those of the broader Boogaloo movement. The Boogaloo movement is pretty far right. I mean, that's pretty consistent there. I mean, talking about where is it? President, blah 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 blah. Don't care. Where is this guy? Oh yeah, here we go. This is what I was reading earlier. The domestic terrorist who is currently convicted to 16 years had espoused anti-police and anti-government views along with the support of the Boogaloo movement and recently became worried about the US becoming a communist country. Does that sound like some type of Bernie bro? Damn. No wonder you're so confused. You get your information from Wikipedia. I mean, are you going to provide anything that... What part of this isn't true? What part of this wasn't true? I mean, like, if you want to dispute the sources of Wikipedia, they're all here. Not good. Better than nothing, what you have? Yeah, like, the thing is, the thing is, like, when people are, oh no, you use Wikipedia, yes, and if you have a problem with Wikipedia's sources, then figure out what's the problem with the sources themselves. Like, if you have a you know, a contradicting point, then feel free to provide evidence. Otherwise, then why are you making the claim? I mean, like, obviously, if you're gonna come here to troll, like, that's obviously the goal, but, you know, it's not gonna get you very far. Wiki's a good base for research. It shouldn't be your only source, but it has a whole reference list. Right, like, what you do is you go down here, and then, you figure out where to go. I mean, like, this is just, like, basic news. Right? This is just some basic news. None of this is, like, controversial or out of pocket. None of this. He'll be back. Well, probably not. I mean, like, these type of trolls, they don't really last, you know? If Wikipedia has facts only because edit it, if facts are facts. Yeah, like, if you have a problem with Wikipedia, then feel free to dispute, the sources at the bottom. I mean, like, this is just basic news. We can go back and find, like, the different articles and all reported on the same thing. True. Chuds don't let their trolling be dictated by facts. That's true. Kraylio has it going, as if their name wasn't an obvious clue that they're a troll. True. True. But yeah, the point being is, if you have a problem with Wikipedia, then go down to the sources and dispute that. Otherwise, like, you know, fuck off. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you have a problem with Wikipedia, go down to the sources and dispute those. Anyways. Hey, Kraylio. I've been hanging in there. I'm just happy that, there's a long weekend, and I'm happy that there's another long weekend up ahead. So that's good. Troll be gone, true. You should go to college. You would know Wikipedia isn't a reliable source. Damn. I filed for my passport last week. Nice. Are you leaving for vacation? I'm getting the F out of this country. Nice. My plan is to move to Thailand. Nice. Cool. All right. Jonker recommended substance abuse and mental health assessments for the treatment of this domestic terrorist. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel hailed this sentencing decision as a clear message that domestic terrorism will not be tolerated. My SSDI will go much further there. Nice. This domestic terrorist actions undermine the security of every Michigan resident. I remain deeply grateful to the judge, the Justice Department and FBI, and Michigan State Police for every person who worked together to ensure justice was served. Another person involved in the plot is set for sentencing. This domestic terrorist was part of the plan, along with others practicing detonating explosive devices in preparation, the prosecutor said at the trial. Earlier this month, the other men involved in the plot were all sentenced on charges of gang participation, support of a terrorist act, and carrying or possessing a firearm during the commission of a felony, according to the Michigan Attorney General's office. Musico and this other dude served a minimum of 12 years and 7, respectively. The alleged commander of the group, according to affidavits filed with the Attorney General's office, went by the online moniker Boogaloo Bunyan. So, yeah. Yeah. As if, we needed any other corroboration as to my original statement. Yeah. Man. Oh yeah, we got the climate recap on deck. So yeah, domestic terrorist got 16 years in prison. That's what happens. Honestly, should have been more. It should have been more. It should have been more. This type of shit is unacceptable. This type of shit is unacceptable. Nonetheless, I am glad that he got 16 years is a pretty hefty it is a pretty hefty time, but should have been more, but that's just me. All right. Shifting gears kind of. I've been tempted to get a shirt that said I'm a left and yes, I want to leave your country. Please help me pay for it. Yeah, I always see I'm a leftist and I want to leave yes, I want to leave your country, so please help me pay for it. Yeah, I wonder if like any of these like right-wing people who are always like, yeah, I'll help you I'll help you leave. Like, okay. You're gonna buy my ticket and expenses? I mean, yeah. Kari Lake deletes tweet targeting Maricopa judge after officials seek sanctions. Oh Lord, I hate these. Okay, there we go. A defeated gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake deleted a tweet accusing the judge who dismissed her election challenge of integrity violations. The tweet, which was posted earlier this Monday, suggested that the founding partner of a law firm representing Governor-elect Katie Hobbs emailed Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Peter Thompson what to say as he authored this dismissal. Damn. You know, this reminds me, as we were doing this last time with freaking Tim Pool, who was like, "Oh, well, we should let it go to court and hear what she has to say." Also, I don't think she's going to win. Also, in that, she's a phenomenal speaker, and I loved her speeches. Tim Pool, but okay, well, she took it to court, and it was dismissed because of obvious fucking reasons. Like, for one, no evidence to support any of these claims. Yeah. The dismissal of Kari Lake's election lawsuit shows voter disenfranchisement no longer matters. At Rach IC, legal experts believe this decision by Judge Thompson was ghostwritten. They suspect top left-wing attorneys like Mark Elias emailed him what to say. The now deleted tweet reads, Maricopa County and Hobbs, in both her capacities as Secretary of State and Governor-elect, cited the tweet in asking the judge to impose sanctions on Lake and her attorneys on Monday, arguing that Lake's campaign broader election challenge was groundless and constituted harassment. Lake's campaign argued in court filings that the Post simply retweeted the author of the article, Rachel Alexander. The tweet quoted Alexander's opinion article published by conservative website Town Hall, although the article does not cite which legal experts believe the judge committed impropriety and provide no evidence of the allegations. I mean, of course, you know, the bastion of journalistic integrity, that is Tim Pool. I'm pretty sure that if I go to his channel right now, he's going to update that story, and he's going to tell us that there is no evidence to support any of these claims, and there's no reason why Kari Lake should have even made these claims. But no? No? Nothing? No? Cool. Nothing, Tim? Damn. Lake's campaign argued that it was simply retweeting blah 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 blah. As tweets, especially those that are authored by others, do not support sanctions under Arizona law. Gee, I wonder why Twitter is about to die. Tell me that, Elon. You know what always brings my mood up? Hey Google, what is the price of a Tesla stock right now? Oof. 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 Yikes. Yikes. Damn. Anyways. Tweets, especially those by authors, do not support sanctions under Arizona law. Lake's campaign wrote to the judge. The Hill has reached out for Lake's campaign for further comment. Okay. Progressive election law firm Elias Law Group, which is managed by Mark Elias, represents Hobbs in the case in her capacity as governor-elect. A spokesman for the firm deferred comment to Elias's tweet about Lake's post. I've I've had a lot of lies told me about today, more than usual, more than even the 2020 election. I always first point them out and ask them to be deleted. Honorable people do so, but the people still lying about me are doing it on purpose, and I'm done. But I'm done. Good night. All right. So it's just kind of a setting up the stage. Elon should say, "Look, I'm killing Twitter." True. So that was just kind of to set this one up here. Arizona governor-elect asked the court to sanction Kari Lake, the election denier. Arizona's Democratic governor-elect Katie Hobbs asked the court on Monday to sanction the defeated Republican gubernatorial candidate, Kari Lake, over her failed effort to overturn the state's election result. An Arizona judge on Saturday rejected Lake's lawsuit that challenged the counting and certification of the November electoral contest in a bid to be declared the winner, despite a lack of evidence of voter fraud. Twitter isn't dying; it's being murdered by Elon. True, and his brilliance. He is single-handedly torpedoing Twitter, Tesla, and whatever he touches. Hobbs joined a motion by Maricopa County for sanctions on Lake and her attorneys, in which the county's deputy attorney, Thomas Liddy, wrote that Lake filed a groundless lawsuit for a frivolous pursuit. True. Enough really is enough, Liddy wrote in the motion filed on Monday. It is past time to end unfounded attacks on elections and unwarranted accusations against election officials. Maricopa County's motion had no basis in law or effect. Lake's lawyers wrote in response filed Monday evening, asking the court to deny the request for sanctions. Trust in the election process is not furthered by punishing those who bring legitimate claims, as the plaintiff did here. Well, no, she didn't. She didn't bring legitimate claims. If not, we would be arguing these things in court. They were dismissed, like, outright. 80% of the claims here, the grievances that were filed in the court in that lawsuit, 80% of those grievances were tossed out at the beginning. And then the rest of it was just unfounded. There's no evidence to her claims. It just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So the fact that her lawyers are trying to say that she's bringing legitimate claims, she's not. None of these claims have been found that have had any merit to them. Like, it would be one thing if there was, like, you know, serious problems and you can point them out. Hey, this happened here, here, and here. But other than that, if you don't have evidence, then shut up. Put up or shut up. Jesus Christ. In fact, sanctioning the plaintiff would have the opposite effect. The sanctions would be in the form of financial penalty imposed by a judge for violation of a court rule or misconduct. Lake's lawsuit had targeted Hobbs, who is currently Arizona's Secretary of State and becomes governor next week, along with top officials in Maricopa County. Her suit claimed that hundreds of thousands, I mean, like, this is silly. This is silly. Of illegal ballots infected the election in Maricopa, the state's most populous county. In a separate court filing, Hobbs also asked the Superior Court in Maricopa County to award her over $600,000 to compensate for fees and expenses accrued in defending against Lake's lawsuit. Lake, a former television news anchor, was one of the most high-profile Republican candidates in the midterm election to embrace former Republican President Donald Trump's false claim of voter fraud in 2020. She lost the governor's race to Hobbs, but refused to concede and continued to make these unconfirmed claims about the election improprieties on her Twitter feed. Lake was one of the most prominent of the Trump-aligned Republican candidates who lost battleground state races in the midterm elections. Cool. Hopefully, Hobbs wins, and hopefully this sends a message as well. You know, enough is enough, really. Um, for wasting everybody's time, for all the damage that these Republicans are doing. Um, you just have to have it. All right, either put up or shut up. If you're running around talking about massive election fraud or voter fraud or whatever, if you don't have evidence, like there should be sanctions, automatic financial sanctions to the campaigns, for wasting everybody's time. Yeah, if you don't have evidence, either put up or shut up. Just stop. Just stop. The election wasn't stolen. Stop that. Stop it. Right, I'm wasting taxpayer money on fake court cases. Correct. Correct. Which Tim Pool was so like gleefully reporting, gleefully reporting on, and yet, and yet when the chips fell down, he failed to, report the outcome of that, which is no evidence was supported by, no evidence was provided to support any of these claims. I mean, is it time to stop the it is time to stop the 2020 fixed and rigged election? Just Trump talking of points. Yeah, I mean, like yeah, I mean, it's the problem. Yes, the problem is that like this can't be the new norm. This is very very dangerous. This cannot be the new norm. Where if you like lose an election, you storm off and do a tantrum, through the court system trying to prove your point without any evidence. There has to be some type of like guardrail in place, to be like, if you're gonna bring up these fucking claims, you better have fucking evidence. Okay, if you're gonna sit here and repeatedly make these claims, you better have fucking evidence. It's just as simple as that. Filing claims like that would, without any evidence, is fraud. Yeah, I mean, like, there is such a thing as like making frivolous lawsuits that waste everybody's time, right? Like, there is such a thing as that. I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of like what these sanctions are about. But yeah, there definitely needs to be some kind of like either better written penalties or specific penalties to outline what happens when you specifically do this. Yeah, it's illegal. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, whatever that falls under, like you said, fraud or whatever. I don't care. Whatever that falls under, yeah, I think that they should be more heavy-handed. For the fact, for the reason that he just pointed out, it incites distrust in the democratic process. I mean, yeah. Like, if you seriously don't have any evidence and all this stuff, like, yeah, fuck you. Like, honestly, like, enough, dude, enough. It's 2022. Enough. I know civics is tough enough, but Trump and Bannon and the machine, all these lies. Yeah, and that's a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. Hey, Arberlin, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. All right. Libs of TikTok. The person behind the account, Kaya Raychik, whatever the fuck her name is. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Let's listen, I guess we should say. We should probably speak. We should probably let Kaya Rychek speak for herself. A more that say at the top that Wikipedia is an unreliable source in case you have trouble reading. Hey, did you not listen to me? Are your ears okay? Are your ears like wait, hold on. Are you capable of understanding English? I'm just making sure that we're on the same page here. Are you capable of like understanding English or what? No? Yes? Seems you have trouble reading, brother. No, it seems you have trouble listening and understanding like basic English, I guess. I said, if you have a problem with Wikipedia, then go to the sources and find and prove which one of those sources is problematic. Okay? Find out which one of those sources is a problem and point that out. All of them. You didn't even bother reading it. So you wouldn't know that. That's a lie. Why are you lying to me? Come on, man. Why are you lying to me? Come on. Buddy. Sir, buddy, pal. Why are you lying to me? Damn, dude. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. This channel does need a comedy tag, because it really does. It really does, because I'm fucking hilarious. Anyways, like I said, I provided sources, and those sources have a bunch of like articles that you can go through. In case you want to dispute that, you're more than welcome to actually read and dispute that story. Otherwise, put up or shut up. It's that simple. Either put up or shut up. Very simple. Are we bored with them yet? Almost. I'm almost bored with them. I'm almost bored. It's very simple. Put up or shut up. If you have a problem with any of the sources or whatnot, then prove it. Simple as that, right? It shouldn't be hard for, you know, a massively intellectual titan such as yourself. A intellectual titan such as yourself should be able to like go through those sources and say like, well, this is wrong because of this, this, and this, right? Surely. Right? An intellectual titan such as yourself should be able to do that, right? I mean, this is just basic, right? I missed, what is this debate about? Reality. As it turns out, this debate was on the realities of a news story. That's it. If you can't put up, then just shut up, or, you know, go away. It's that simple. And they're a debate bro. That's like the worst kind, because like, if you come in here thinking like you're a debate bro, chances are I'm a better debate bro than you are, and that's a mistake. Right? Ban me again, that lets me know that I won the debate. True, man, true. Damn. I should add that to the tactic of that to my list of tactics for debate. Proof that I won a debate when I get thrown out of a chat because I am incapable of critical thinking and attempting to derail the streamer. Gotcha. Cool. Kaya Rychek, everybody. Like I said, we should just let her speak for herself, and then we'll get into it.
What is going on here? Do you have any theories?
I think there's something so unique about the LGBTQ community. Has become this cult, and it's so captivating.
It's a cult,
and
guys.
It pulls people in so strongly, unlike anything we've ever seen.
This is disgusting, by the way. The fuck? The LGBTQ community is a fucking cult that pulls you in? What? This is delusional. This is delusional. This person, Kaya Rychek, lives of TikTok, is not living in reality. Delusional thinking.
and they brainwash people to join, and they convince them.
Yes, they brainwash you into being LGBTQ. What? That's not how that works at all. That's not how that works at all. I know a lot of LGBTQ people. I have them in this community. Trust me. That's just beyond that's just beyond divorce from reality. High control group, sure. Right. Yeah. Totally known. Like how do you even do this? This is like playing on like a trope that's been around for like since like the 50s. Brainwash people to join. You don't join, like you're not, you don't get brainwashed into being LGBTQ. That's just not how that works at all. Literally talk to them. Engage with these people. Engage with that community. Like, you can't brainwash people into being LGBTQ. That's just not how that works at all. For the same reason that conversion therapy doesn't work. And it's bullshit. And it's fucking torture. It's cultists that want, cultists, it's cultish to want to live freely and love who you love. Exactly. That's just disgusting. To try to put the LGBTQ community as like, to paint them as like a cult, and then to go even further and say that they like brainwash people. That's fucking disgusting. Fuck this person.
They brainwash people to join, and they convince them of all of these things.
And none of that is true, by the way. Like, you can't brainwash. Okay, whatever. I've already explained it.
And it's really, really hard to get out of it. It's really difficult. And there are studies on this. Like, there's been a lot of reporting on this.
Yeah, there's many studies on this. Really? And not even one came to your head? Not even one off the top of your head that you can point to? Nothing? This is like one of the wildest vague posting I've ever seen. Studies say, well, shit, which one?
About people, parents who are like, my child is starting to say, that they're non-binary or transgender or whatever, and what do I do?
Okay, but that's not what? How does this have to do with the cult thing? You were just talking about how the LGBTQ people, like she's not coherent. This is completely incoherent. Gobbledygook. She just finished saying that the LGBTQ community is a cult that brainwashes people. And now we're talking about a child who's expressing, hey, I feel this certain way. How is that brainwashing? What? She's completely incoherent. Yeah, unless she's talking about her church, all lies. Yep. Studies say, hey, Maple Leaf, studies say that other studies have inaccurate information that requires more studies. True! But I will still cite this study. Wild. Anyways.
how do I stop this? And it's really, really difficult. It's unlike anything we've ever seen.
Mind you, we just jumped from the LGBTQ community being brainwashing people, new cult members, to a child expressing an identity, and then, you know, being asked how to stop it. What? And then being described as, quote, extremely poisonous. Holy shit, folks. Yikes. The yikes factor is increasing the more we watch this. And mind you, this is on like Tucker Carlson. So there's probably like an hour of this shit. Okay?
I think it's extremely poisonous.
But do you see a spiritual component to any of this?
A spiritual component.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I do. I don't think this makes sense at all.
No, it doesn't make any sense. And I think they're evil. And sometimes we try.
Remember, we've gone from cultish to brainwashing to now we're evil, right? So once we get to that step, we get to start dehumanizing, and then we get to do whatever we want to them, right? Like this is wild that she's saying this. And like this entire time, like, you know, people on the left and whatnot were like, oh, you know, this account is like really freaking bad. This account has been doing like a lot of bad shit. You know, and we've been gaslighted the entire time. Oh no, well, you know, she's just posting videos, holding a mirror up to the left, the crazy lefties. Yeah? Yeah, spiritual, I don't know, but they're evil. The fuck? True. Good point, Maple Leaf.
We try to break it down a lot, and you know, we discuss like why this is happening, what's happening, and whatever. And I think sometimes the simplest answer is like they're just evil. They're bad people. They're just evil people, and they want to groom kids.
Yeah. So there it is. So that's the message. That's the underlying message. And the fact that you know, we've been gaslighted time and time after time. The message is the LGBTQ community is is evil, and they're trying to groom kids. So basically anything goes. That's the messaging, okay, that she's trying to convey. That the LGBTQ community is some type of cult that are recruiting, brainwashing, and that they're evil, because she's not even like making a distinction. She's not even trying to make a distinction like, well, you know, this person was really bad or whatnot. No, she's purposely and using like key, like vague posting to make that message, right? To formulate that message of the LGBTQ is evil, and they're grooming kids. They're evil and they're grooming kids. So you know what you have to do, is what she's saying. In other words, this is stochastic terrorism, folks. This is stochastic terrorism. Because the underlying message is that, well, anything goes, you know? Anything goes. And that's fucked up. Okay? And that's fucked up. Morality is never a simple person without empathy. Yep. Christians are the biggest groomers of all. They've literally indoctrinating children. They're literally indoctrinating children into their cult. True. actually what's happening. Hey, Kralio, you've been here long enough. What is it? What's the thing, chat? Every accusation is... Every accusation is just a confession. Every accusation is just a confession. Yeah, projection. That's right.
Yeah.
They're recruiting.
Yes, says Tucker. No, I mean, yes, says Tucker. And they're recruiting, is what she's saying. Captions, and the segment ends with her saying extremely, extremely effective. Jesus freaking Christ. Holy shit. This is wild.
What is going on here? Do you have any theories?
Yeah. I think this clip kind of just like highlights, just kind of highlights the ideology here, and the intentions, and we can just stop pretending. We can just stop pretending that that this is anything to do with protecting children or anything like that. Okay? We can stop pretending that this person is just there to expose anything. This person is essentially saying that the LGBTQ community is essentially groomers, and anything goes. She's being a stochastic terrorism. You know, you can keep trying. You can keep trying, you stupid fuck. You're not gonna pass the mod thing. Jesus Christ. We got some wild chats being modded by the auto the automatic restriction, by the automatic restriction, and they're just typing away. Jesus. If I can't understand something and easily incorporate it into my worldview within 5 seconds, then it's evil. Exactly. But it's not just like, it's not just that they're evil. It's not just that they're evil, but that they're grooming kids, right? So the point being is that she wants the underlying message is that anything goes. And that is super, super fucked up, what she's doing there. What she's doing there is super, super messed up. Basically, that's what she's saying. She is a stochastic terrorist. She is a stochastic terrorist, and we can drop the act now. We can drop the act. As she's telling us very clearly. And if you want an example as to how dishonest she is, if you want an example as to how dishonest this person is, libs of TikTok, check this out. What does the title of that tweet say? What does the title of that tweet say? Representative Katie Porter says pedophilia isn't a crime, it's an identity. Okay? That's the title of that tweet, right?
This allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender.
So what did Representative Porter actually say? What did Representative Porter actually say? Let's re-listen to that.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile.
This allegation of groomer / pedophile.
It is alleging that a person
is
criminal somehow.
Engaged
in criminal acts merely because of their identity.
Right. Is engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity. What she's saying there is that, just because what she's saying there is that LGBTQ people, you shouldn't call them like pedophiles. You're just like automatically alleging that they're like doing this like crime, and a heinous one at that. Not that being a pedophile is an identity, unless you think by default that the LGBTQ community is by default pedophiles. Unless you think that, which she does, because she's a piece of shit. Do you see how like this works? She's exactly saying as a 1-to-1. She's saying that the age-old trope, right? That gay people and the LGBTQ community are pedophiles, and she's saying here in the title of this tweet that Representative Porter says pedophilia isn't a crime, it's an identity. Representative Porter hasn't said that. We're 11 seconds in. She hasn't said that.
Their sexual orientation, their gender identity. So this is clearly prohibited under Twitter's content, yet you found hundreds of these posts on the platform. Your team filed complaints about these posts, correct?
Yes.
And how often did Twitter act to take down these posts, which violated its own content policy?
Very rarely.
So from our calculation, it looks like about 99% of your complaints, they basically acted on 1 or 2 of the 100+ complaints you filed. Instead of taking them down, Twitter elevated them, allowing them to reach an approximate 72 million users. This is not just about what happens online. What happens online translates into real harms.
Yes, and what she's describing is essentially like, this is exactly how stochastic terrorism works. By people like Libs of TikTok, like Kaya Rychek.
People's lives. Ms. Popcock, you provide services to a community that experienced a devastating LGBTQ attack. Can you provide some examples of the link between speech online and attacks against providers like you?
We know really online threats, in addition to just creating an atmosphere of bullying for young people, it also creates an...
Yeah. At no point in this video, in this 1 minute and 29 seconds, at no point has Representative Porter said that pedophilia is a identity. Okay? The only way you could derive this conclusion is if your bigoted, xenophobic brain conflates or translates LGBTQ as automatic like pedophiles. In which case, that's you. That's you and your bigoted, xenophobic brain.
This allegation of groomer and pedophile,
as evidenced by the fact that she thinks and does every effort to portray this image with the explicit goal of inciting violence. Because why else? What is the purpose of dehumanizing a group of people and then slapping on one of the worst labels you can possibly think of on them. Because then you could do anything to them, right? Or at least that's the idea that she wants to convey. She's a stochastic terrorist. She is a stochastic terrorist. And that account, Libs of TikTok or whatever, should be shut down. Hey, Cosmic Seeking, how's it going? Because why else would you make such an effort to do this, if not to try to incite, especially with such a large audience, incite violence, right? I'm running late live today, no problem. Of course they're trying to incite violence, right? But like my yes, you're right. My point is that we can take that mask off. We can stop with the gaslighting. And I'm speaking like to the more right-wing people. We can stop with the gaslighting. Like, this is explicit. This is as explicit as you can get in terms of like what you're thinking, right? I mean, to literally say like these people are freaking groomers and they want to groom children, and in the other hand, like literally saying, literally equating the LGBTQ community with pedophiles, because this is the only way you could arrive to this statement right here. The only way this fit and this translates into your head is if you think that the LGBTQ community are pedophiles. That's the only way you can possibly make this tweet. It's reprehensible. She's reprehensible. She's a stochastic terrorist. Fuck her. She's also claimed that she's doxxed by Taylor Lorenz when she doxed herself. Honestly, I don't care about Chaya Rychek or whatever the fuck her name is. Honestly, like, what an idiot. And it's hard to like believe anything she says. It's hard to believe anything she says when she is like as gross as this. I hate that we have to protect these kind of people, right? To say whatever they want. We don't though. Like you can say you can say all these like heinous shit. But if you get your account banned, or if people like get really angry at you, and all of a sudden, you know, your account gets shut down and like avenues start closing for you, then that's on you. I meant outside of private platforms. Oh, well, yeah, I mean, I don't want the government to have any kind of power like that. We've seen what that ends up doing. No, thank you. No, thank you. If the government had that kind of power, the moment a Republican president comes in, no thanks. I don't want them to have that. Have you had a cozy Christmas holiday? Yeah, we had a pretty chill holiday. We had a pretty chill, long weekend, holiday weekend. Anyways, the point being, fuck this person, and we can stop pretending that, she's anything but a terrible human being. We can stop pretending that that it's just, you know, that's what I mean. It's important to protect free speech, but I just wish it didn't come at this cost. Well, like that's the thing. Like the government doesn't have to step in. Like, you know, Twitter shouldn't allow this kind of behavior on this platform. In fact, more often than not, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Twitter went to more lengths to protect her channel or her content. This one's on Twitter. She almost sounds like she's a product of child grooming. Now, honestly, I mean, I can't speak I can't speak for that, but I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't matter. Well, like the kind of stuff that she's espousing, is getting people hurt, and she is a stochastic terrorist, and she does want something bad to happen to the LGBTQ community. Like that's her goal. That's her goal. So you know what? Fuck her. Easy peasy. I mean, like this kind of shit is just so gross. This kind of shit is just so gross, dude. How could you say that? Like this isn't even in this video. In no part of this minute and 29 seconds were these words are uttered at all. Let's not repeat the errors of our opponents. True. Hey, Remnant Berry, how's it going? What a gross human being. All right, folks. We got to do the climate recap. Let's do it.
Hey, everyone. Happy holidays. I hope you're having a wonderful time.
Happy holidays? Listen. In this country, we say Merry Christmas.
I'm with family and friends, and as you can see, I've got this lovely Christmas sweater. I'm just very proud of it. Anyways, let's get into today's climate news. Welcome to the Climate Recap from the Beckosphere Climate Corner, your go-to place for international and US-based climate news. I'm Becky Hogue, a climate communicator.
True, the best climate news on YouTube.
Click that subscribe button icon to stay updated on this very important topic, and let's jump right into today's news. Freezing air and blizzard conditions have traveled down from Siberia to inflict 0-degree Fahrenheit temperatures on most of central and eastern US and western Canada. It could set low pressure records in parts of Canada, and some meteorologists say that it might be similar to the Great Blizzard of 1978 that hit the Ohio Valley, but there's still different ways that it could switch up. Some areas will experience temperatures.
Happy holidays, Drew. Merry Christ. Merry Chrysler.
Please clap.
That's funny.
30 degrees below normal this Christmas weekend. This is because there's an unusually high pressure zone through the Arctic Circle called the Siberian Express that brings cold air all the way down to Florida. That cold air would usually be trapped in Siberia. Terrible timing with it being peak travel time to see loved ones for the holidays. It's also exacerbating growing food insecurity in the US, which will likely just get worse due to higher food prices from supply chain disruptions. This Arctic blast may last until early 2023. Through this freeze, we are bound to hear climate skeptics saying stupid things like, "Where's your global warming now?" I would like to remind you how this storm can exist while 2022 is still projected to be the fourth.
Yeah, like, okay. Yeah. The fact that there would be anybody saying that, oh, checkmate, dude, we had an unusual phenomenon, an unusual, like, you know, cold storm and whatnot. Yeah, all of this is unusual, dude. The climate is changing at a rate that is not natural, and it is accelerating because of what we're doing. Yes, this is not normal. Merry New Year. It will last until February 2nd of 2023. What? This climate thing? This, whatchamacallit? This can't be, right? The cold weather? Predictions? Oh. Hold on.
They will know that you are my disciples
that you say Merry Christmas! Christ! Christmas! That's my name in there, and I put it in there because I wanted it in there so we could all celebrate Big Boy Jesus' birthday time! Okay? Okay.
Rabbi.
There we go. Okay. Cool. Now that we got that settled.
Fourth hottest year on record. That's because the longer term warming trends make winter shorter but more extreme. As the air warms, it can hold more moisture, which will then come down in one way or another, including in the form of a blizzard. And as the planet gets warmer, the jet streams get weirder because the Arctic is warming faster than the rest of the world.
Yes.
In fact, a 2022 Arctic report card by the American Geophysical Union was just released a few days ago. The 147 scientists from 11 countries confirmed that the wildfire season is starting earlier and rain events are dropping more water than they used to. Seasons up north are starting to blend together. This warming trend for the Arctic is called Arctic amplification. As more ice cover melts, it exposes the darker water underneath, which reduces what's called an albedo effect. The albedo effect is basically when sun's rays bounce back into the atmosphere because they bounce from a lighter surface. So that's happening less now in the Arctic when there's less ice, resulting in the Arctic warming up faster than the rest of the world. This year was the Arctic's sixth warmest year on record, and its hottest 7 years have been the last 7 years. As the Arctic thaws faster, it disrupts the jet streams, resulting in colder winters in parts of North America, Europe, and Asia. While we can't immediately attribute one event to climate change, we can see generally what the studies say about how more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere impact the frequency and intensity of these events. Then we'll wait a few years for the attribution studies to come out on a particular event to see how climate change actually impacted it. And these attribution studies basically just look at how likely that event would have happened with or without climate change.
And it'll get worse with permafrost melting? Yeah. Thawing out? Yeah. I mean, like, you can't disrupt, you can't pump so much CO2 and all this other stuff into the atmosphere and expect that you're going to keep Earth's very fragile like ecosystems in place. I mean, like, everything has a domino effect. Yes, a positive feedback loop. Everything has a domino effect. Some that we don't quite understand either. I'm looking forward to 12 species of anthrax throwing out. True, me too. I can't wait.
Adjusted computer models. So, anyways, if you hear anyone be like, where is this global warming? There's your answer for you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if anyone like literally comes, if anyone does like the famous like Republican thing where they went into the halls of Congress with a literal snowball and be like, wow, dude, I have snow, checkmate libs. Yeah, you can just laugh at them and make fun of them. Yeah.
And if you live in the range of this Christmas blizzard, please be careful and stay safe. This is just the latest weird weather that North America has experienced.
We're living through our own experiment.
Last week, a storm came up from the southwest, causing tornadoes and thunder showers in Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. By the way, studies seem to suggest that the frequency of tornadoes is not increasing, but the size of the tornado zones is expanding. So if you wanted to learn more about tornado and climate change research, there's a link down below that you can check out. But it's interesting how many tornadoes that Texas in particular recently saw, because the tornado season is usually in the spring. And just to finish up with American extreme weather news, Southern California declared itself in a drought emergency last week. The region will likely enter its fourth consecutive dry year. The Metropolitan Water District chairwoman had this to say in a recent statement, quote, "Conditions in the Colorado River are growing increasingly dire. We simply cannot continue turning to that source to make up the difference in our limited state supplies. In addition, 3 years
of we are going to have to come to terms with like the idea of climate refugees. Yes, we are going to have to come to terms with the idea of climate refugees as a whole. I mean, it's just like one of the many things that we're going to have to prepare to handle, or we should be preparing to handle. I mean, like, among like the obvious things of like trying to kind of like do what we can to not end up on like the worst end of the scale, even though we're pretty much like sealed in for a bad portion of it. There's nothing we can do about that, but we can stop it from getting worse, which is what we should be doing every day, every month, every year that we we continue to let go, is just sealing in more greenhouse gases and sealing in more temperature rises, and which that has all this stuff. Planet is fine, carbon-based life is aft. I would move into an undersea city personally. Yes, I will get my submarine and I will be fine. Yes.
Drawing down our local storage. So I'm not getting the blizzard over in California, but we got other issues. And in other parts of the world, at least 141 people died in Congo.
Also, by the way, I would also like to make a mention. I really like your sweater. I really like that Christmas sweater. I need something like that next year.
Heavy rainfall and subsequent flooding and landslides hit the country's capital last week. There's been many devastating weather events in West and Central Africa this year, mainly due to the rare triple La Nina, climate change, and hasty urban development to keep up with the population increase. Nearly 40,000 households were flooded by this most recent event. And the Met Office in the UK predicts that 2023 will be an even hotter year than 2022. That's probably the last thing that folks in the UK want to hear after the deadly hot summer this year. Okay, I'll pass these stories off to you now. Are you living in any of these mentioned regions? Let me know what y'all are thinking about these news points down in the comment section below. HSBC, Europe's biggest bank, announced that it would no longer financially support new oil and gas projects. This is a big deal because private financial institutions
well, that's a change. We'll see if they follow through, but that's nice. It was like the second result for Black Cat Christmas sweater on Etsy. Nice.
Role to play in switching funds away from polluting industries. HSBC has loaned $111 billion in finance to oil and gas companies since the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015, making it the second largest European lender for that industry. This announcement is the result of international and scientific bodies providing analysis to the financial institution in conjunction with mass climate protests in the last few years. The bank said it will still support existing fossil fuel projects if they line up with the eventual reduction of fossil fuel use over time. Climate activists say this should be an example for other large banks around the world, particularly in the US. The Rainforest Action Network has found again and again that the top 4 banks are responsible for a quarter of fossil fuel financing committed over the last 4 years. Those are JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citibank. What do you think of HSBC's move? Let me know in the comment section below.
European banks are getting with the program much faster than the US.
The international energy.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be like a common theme. No, Twitchers are too young to know Sequest. To be fair, I didn't watch it. So, that's an L on my part.
Agency, or IEA, released a report recently showing that this year is also an all-time high for global coal consumption, beating the previous record set all the way back in 2013.
The
coal
goats!
is still the largest electricity source in the world. Both the clean energy and coal increases are likely due to Russia's unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, which forced countries around the world, particularly in Europe, to switch away from Russian fossil fuels. This was exacerbated by the summer drought in Europe, which reduced hydropower output. There have also been issues with nuclear plant shutdowns in countries like France. All
it aired like 93 to 96. Yeah, I was like very, very little at that point.
New ones. The IEA warns that this spike in coal use could last for years if decarbonization steps aren't taken now. The big
but then why wouldn't you try to go for more renewable sources? If you know that the problem is being dependent on fossil fuels and natural gas and whatnot, wouldn't the correct and logical response be like, hey, since technology has been advancing, maybe we should try to like incorporate as much of that renewable technology so that we rely less on the thing that's messing us up? I mean, I'm just saying.
biggest increase in coal use is in India, which increased coal use by 7%, the European Union, which increased it by 6%, and China, which increased it by 0.4%.
You're thinking too logical.
Editing Becky here. I realized
Boo.
I missed in my explanation of why coal increased so much this year. India was also impacted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. They did decrease how much gas they
You
were
need to
getting,
insert
and
more
in
fossil
exchange,
fuel
they
dollars into your
replaced a
thinking
lot of-
process. True. I did not consider that. I apologize to the multi-billion, $100 billion dollar industry. True. I forgot. I did not take into account the almighty line. I apologize.
Out of the demand with coal and with solar. A decent amount actually went to solar. Solar rose quite a bit this year, but coal is still
True.
very
I'm
much
sorry,
the
Maple. I
largest energy
apologize.
source for this gigantic
I
country.
apologize. That's a
So
no on my
just
part,
simply
okay?
with the increase in demand and the way that India's energy sector is currently structured, coal has been prioritized for this energy demand growth.
To help bring up the mood a little bit, though, remember that in the last episode, we did talk about how renewables will likely surpass coal as the main electricity source by early 2025. So there's something to look forward to. This video is sponsored by me, as they all are. The most recent news, I would say, having to do with my other platforms.
I
because
know.
have,
How could I?
An Instagram, a TikTok, and a Twitch, and a podcast, which you can check out all the links for down below. But the most recent news is that I tried actually editing down one of my Twitch streams. It was the last Friday Twitch stream, and I talked about a lot of interesting policy decisions. And then I also did react to some Fox News and Ben Shapiro. So I edited those down and I put them up on the second channel. If you want to watch some Twitch stream content that's not 3 hours long, then check out those videos. I don't know, I thought they were fun, and I am hoping to edit more of those Twitch streams in the future because it makes for pretty easy second content, and I don't know, I like them. So anyways, back to your regularly scheduled program. Last week, the European Union struck a deal to update its emissions trading system.
My Twitch stream, YouTube channels like/dislike rate sucks now. Boo!
Or ETS, in a big way. The ETS is where companies trade carbon credits to pay for emitting. It's been updated many times, most noticeably last year to reduce the EU's emissions by 55% by 2030. One of the main updates for this time is
Too
that
many
the EU
facts,
is requiring
news
all
founds.
money made through
No lie though, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes when you cover like these like right wing clowns, their simps will come and find the video. They'll find it. I did a video on like Steven Crowder a very long time ago, and yeah, a lot of people found it. A lot of these little snowflakes got super giga triggered that I went after Steven Crowder, and yeah, that was fun. That was a good meme.
Through the carbon market to be used towards climate action. Though, because gas is considered a transition fuel in the EU, spending on gas infrastructure might still count as taking climate action, as suggested by the Modernization Fund, which still allows its money to be used for gas infrastructure. This fund allocates money to help the 10 lowest income EU countries decarbonize. This new update expanded the system to include shipping, road transportation, and buildings, because originally only industry and energy sectors were involved in the scheme. Probably the biggest part of the emissions trading system's update is that it will soon include a carbon border adjustment mechanism in exchange for providing carbon credit freebies to industries. Both of these are methods of keeping imported goods from undercutting domestic products, while domestic industries have to adhere to higher emission standards. It's thought that the tariff method would reduce emissions faster, as all the freebies
I like how you have in the
industry gets
background
makes it
the
really slow to reduce emissions compared to like
the
the energy
little
sector. This tariff will impact everything
ornament
from steel
or
to fertilizer
whatever
to
it's called of your
electricity,
name.
including hydrogen production. Companies
That's pretty cool.
importing those goods to the EU will be required
I
to
need
buy
one of those.
certificates to cover their embedded CO2 emissions. This import scheme will come into effect starting in October 1st, 2023, but there will be transition time for the importing companies to adjust. It also gives quite a lot of time for domestic industries to adjust too, and that's where where the first main problem lies. These free carbon credits are set to start expiring when this new tariff goes into effect, but the Carbon Market Watch says over half of these freebies won't be out of the system by 2030, with the full phase out not being until 2035. The EU is also giving import countries with similar
I got that from my B-Day forever ago.
The
Nice.
EU suggested that the US companies will likely not be impacted by this levy thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act. Many countries in Eastern Europe and Africa will be impacted by this tariff, though. Wealthier countries like Ukraine and Turkey have begun to create their own carbon markets in an effort to avoid the tax. So it seems like this tariff will mainly be impacting developing nations like leaders from South Africa, China, India, and Brazil warned would happen at the UN Climate Conference COP27 that took place in Egypt last month. If you want to learn more about that conference, check out the 2 videos that I did in the cards. Now, this could encourage countries to up their climate goals and create their own markets, like in the case of Ukraine and Turkey. But allowing places like the US to skirt this tariff despite being the historical top emitter feels a little unbalanced to me personally. What do you think of this ETS update? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. The California Public Utilities Commission unanimously voted to lower compensation for homeowners with rooftop solar that give their excess energy to the grid. This compensation is called net metering, and it's been debated in many states. Florida's Governor DeSantis surprised a lot of folks by vetoing a similar anti-net metering bill earlier this year. On the one hand, you have utility companies who argue that when people put more rooftop solar on their homes, they essentially remove themselves from the grid, increasing the cost of utility provided electricity for their neighbors. People who have gotten solar so far are more likely to be wealthier and whiter, bringing up an equity discussion. But rooftop solar advocates, which includes most of clean energy advocate groups, argues that utility companies just don't want to lose customers, yet pass on the cost of subsidies to remaining customers, hypothetically causing the problem that they're complaining about. Instead, the advocates support
and like furthermore, shit like energy and whatnot. Listen, at this point, I would really not dance around the issue, given the time constraints that we have to deal with this crisis. I mean, like at this point, like honestly, these utility companies and whatnot, they can go fuck themselves. They should be nationalized. The utility companies in terms of like energy, should be nationalized. We don't have time to play games with them.
More income-based subsidies, so rooftop solar is more accessible for everyone. Adding rooftop solar reduces energy costs over time for households and increases a regional grid's resilience to power outage events. So let me know where you land in this discussion. The 1.5 million... Yes, you are correct. Home energy shouldn't be a commodity. Right, and because it's not really an option now. It's not really an option. So I would put it under housing in terms of like my my 4 pillars of things that like just kind of should be like food, housing, education, healthcare. All that kind of just should be. And obviously something to power your house shouldn't be up to a utility company, especially like given like all of their like failures. I mean, like, you know, just the example that comes off the top of my head, it's like PG&E's negligence cost people lives, all because they refused and to take care of their infrastructure. The same with Texas and their private system. Power for the house is part of the home. It doesn't work without it. Exactly. And Wi-Fi. True. And water. Yes, all of that. Yeah, food. Obviously, you know, you need water. Yeah, that's basically where this is coming from. Like, for too long. And, like, honestly, given the fact that, like, we've got very limited amount of time to deal with the climate crisis, like, if I had if it was up to me,
I would put plans in motion to nationalize all these, utility companies. Fuck them. I don't really care. I don't really care.
Million households in California that already have solar installed will continue to receive the previous amount of compensation, but this will likely reduce demand for rooftop solar in the state moving forward because now placing panels on homes doesn't pay back homeowners as fast. The energy research firm Wood Mackenzie sees this decision as cutting California's solar energy market in half by 2024. This would be a giant leap away from the Sunny State's goal of running on 100% renewable energy by 2045. The state director of Environment California had this to say about the decision. Quote, "This misguided decision, which undervalues solar's numerous benefits for all Californians, will dim the lights on the growth of solar in the Golden State." Now it's time for a fun fact about Rue. Rue loves to listen to my brother play guitar. It's really cute. He literally comes up and just insists on lying down. And that was.
This is honestly the segment that I look forward to. Okay. The industry is designed to be anti-competitive anyway, so the free market argument doesn't even work for utility companies. Already true.
Was a fun fact about Rue.
Aww.
Obviously, as a climate news provider, I need to talk about nuclear fusion breakthroughs. I'm going to try to be pretty quick on this explanation though, because I feel like this has already been talked about to death, but nuclear fusion occurs when two atoms are pressed together using high heat and pressure that then forms a new atom. Energy comes from this forced interaction, and this is the same reaction that takes place in our sun. Nuclear fusion is the opposite of nuclear fission, which is how current nuclear reactors create power. In nuclear fission reactions, atoms are ripped away from each other, which produces nuclear waste. On Earth, scientists use lasers or magnetism to create a nuclear fusion reaction. In the case of this historic experiment, researchers from the National Ignition Facility at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California used 192 lasers to get a pellet of deuterium and tritium fuel to produce helium. On December 5th, they achieved what scientists have been working on for 8 years. Ignition. In other words, the reaction produced.
I could do my own kitty break. I could do my own kitty break. Hold on. Let's see if she's willing. You should get the cat a truth point thing. Yeah, maybe I can replace the cute animal video with getting the cat. Look at her. Look at her. My owner, Missy, is a scratcher, but I love her anyways. Oh. She's like, what are you doing? What's the matter, kitty? Come on. Yes. There we go. She goes ballistic if I try. Oh no. Yeah, I don't think I can trim her nails. I don't think I can trim her nails. She's very spicy. Like, even the vet, when I took her to the vet, he was like, wow, she is a very spicy cat. Buddy, on the other hand, he's super chill. Like, I can pick up Buddy, I can, do anything, but like she like, even picking her up, she's like, what are you doing? Okay. Yeah, she does give me a look. She's like, look, bro, I was sleeping. Exactly. Aw, poor kitty. She does respond to that ground level news, so don't say that too loud. My husband can with our cats. Temptation treats after he cuts a nail and finishes one paw. I mean, we might be able to get it with. There's like a cat treat called churro, like CHURO. Yeah, she loves those treats. I think a lot of cats don't like their feet touched. No. I mean, I can touch like her toe beans, but she just does not like to be picked up or anything. Globus rating with a party of 7. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. I stepped on her foot when she was a kitten. Aww. What up? How's it going? Welcome, everybody. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm a Difficult Truth. I do the news, I do the politics Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys enjoy the content, let us know by smacking the follow button, heading on over to the YouTube channel, and hitting the subscribe button. It really does help us out. Thank you so much, Globus, the Elder, for the raid. Welcome, everybody. We're just going over the climate recap. Yes. You guys just missed a kitty cat. I'm sure I'll be able to get her back before we leave, okay? So for those of you that are coming in and missed the kitty cat, don't worry, we'll bring her back on. I almost stepped on my cat when he was young. Black cat on the black floor. Sheesh. Poor cat.
Used more energy than it required to make
wait, hold on. Sorry, chat.
Nuclear fusion reaction happen. 2 megajoules in, 3 megajoules out. This is an amazing achievement for the scientific community, but does it mean anything for our clean energy options? No, not really. This reaction needs to be able to be done with regularity. The energy produced needs to be captured, and all of this technology needs to be made cheap enough to be adopted to the real world use. This technological development will probably take many more decades to achieve for a regular use purpose. Now, there are other methods of creating nuclear fusion that might see breakthrough faster. Many put their faith in a different nuclear fusion reactor called a tokamak, which uses magnetism to combine a cloud of plasma with the help of extremely high heat. There's one of these reactors called a SPARC, which stands for Soonest or Smallest Private Funded Affordable Robust Compact Reactor, which is being developed by scientists at MIT and a spin-off company, Commonwealth Fusion Systems. They announced at the beginning of this year that they want to have one of these reactors up and running by 2025. But this will be the first time a fusion reaction is completed created using plasma, which would be another big scientific breakthrough announcement. But this doesn't necessarily mean that fusion is close enough to be our climate savior. It's important to remember that we have a timeline to hit. While it would be nice to wait for the perfect energy source, we need to significantly decarbonize our energy supplies by 2050 to avoid the worst climate change projections. Luckily, we have solar, wind, nuclear, geothermal, hydropower, and other low carbon forms of energy to choose from. So we can use those forms of energy, and hey, if we got this one in the future, that's great. But we're not relying on it right now. And that was your climate recap for the day. If you want more news, there's a whole honorable mentions sublist on my main source list linked below. Remember to talk about the climate crisis every single day and to support your local news organizations. Thank you so much to the people on Patreon who help support me and my fur baby Rue. A special shout out to the climate confident and courageous David H, Norman Anal, Greg H, Paul B.
Yes, you should all high heat magnetic tape. Gotcha. Let's go show some support. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do the thing. Other cat video at the end. What? There's a cat video at the end? How did I not know this?
Plasma,
The
Dan
Zero,
Morton, Dane Chris, Nate, Specker,
One Light.
Bree C, Climate Teacher John J, Deanne, and Steve. I greatly appreciate your support of $5 or more. If you would like to support the Beckosphere, please check out the Patreon and buy me a coffee links in the description below for recurring or one-time payments. Happy holidays!
Aww. He's just super chill. What a chill cat. That's so cute. Thank you for the follow, welcome in. All right, folks, I think we did it. I think we got through every article that we needed to get through, and we did it before 7:30. I would also like to point out that our friend never came back. Damn. That's a shame. That's a shame. All right, folks, we've got one more cat. All right, folks, we've got hey. Shh. One more cat appearance, and then we are gonna get out of here. Let me go back to my... There we go. Hold on, folks. Since, unfortunately, the folks who rated in at the end did not get to see Bakita the cat, I figured she would make one last appearance. This is the very spicy Makita the cat. As you can see. Sunday Sinner, thank you for the follow. You see, she's super chill once she gets to my lap. What's the matter? Alright, folks, I do gotta get going. It is just about to be 7:30. I appreciate all of you wonderful folks today. Thank you. Thank you to all the new follows. Thank you to Alio with the tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much. Thank you for the follows, the biddies, the support. I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy the content, we are here Monday through Thursday. Yes, that's my hand. Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you guys want to go above and beyond, you can head on over to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out. Spread the word far and wide. We're here, like I said, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Quick shout outs, twitch.tv/Beccasphere. Please go check them out. And go to her YouTube channel. Go to her YouTube channel. Do the thing. A shout out to Globus the Elder. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate that. Shout out to Carpet Packs. Shout out to twitch.tv/Carpet Packs. Twitch.tv/Alio. Sure. Make sure you go check out all of these wonderful folks. So many in chat. Thank you guys. Thank you for the great stream. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate that. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love y'all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take care. Thank you. Appreciate it. See ya. Oh. Looks like he's talking, Lance is talking to Rob Rousseau. Let's go check this out. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See ya.